Hi, Ed here from keywordspeopleuse.com, and I've got an exclusive time-limited offer for you. If you book a product demo with Keywords People Use, I'll give you a free 7-day trial of our standard plan, which allows you access to our new content optimization tool. This tool hooks into your Google Search Console data so we can find all the keywords you're ranking for and what pages are ranking. We then crawl your site content and use advanced machine learning techniques like embeddings and cosine similarity to find you content optimization opportunities that will quickly boost your impressions and clicks from Google. This new feature in Keywords People Use is already showing results for people using it. Don't miss out on the opportunity of a 7-day free trial. Just go to keywordspeopleuse.com/demo to book your slot. That's keywordspeopleuse.com/demo. You'll find the link in the show notes of this episode. Hello and welcome to SEO is Not That Hard. I'm your host Edd Dawson, the founder of the SEO intelligence platform keywordspeopleuse.com, where we help you discover the questions people ask online and then how to optimize your content to build traffic and authority. I've been in SEO and online marketing for over 20 years, and I'm here to share the wealth of knowledge, hints and tips I've amassed over that time. Hello and welcome back to SEO is Not That Hard. It's me here, Edd Dawson, hosting as usual. And this week it's the next part of my growth framework that I'm sharing with everybody as I'm going along, sharing, in public as I develop it bit by bit, as much because I can then promise that I'm going to deliver the next part, and it gives me accountability that I have to get this next bit done to pass on so that everybody can look at it and see how I'm getting on. And I will tell you at the end of this episode what I'm going to do for the next accountability milestone in a couple of weeks' time. So today we're going to go through the next parts that I'd say get completed over this 2-week period, which is an intro over the framework, and then the first part of the framework, which is the gather part. So this is all available in the document that I share. It's in the show notes. It's a Google Doc. You can go along, you can have a look, you can read all the way through it. So far, in the last couple of weeks, I've created the outline for the document, and then I did the introduction in the last section, which is where I explain the journey that it took to get me from how I used to do SEO before Penguin to in 2012, and now how I've changed that and the framework that I developed for creating content, which was successful for me, built sites, including broadband.co.uk from that, and how successful exits and still have sites running successfully based on this methodology and this framework that I developed from it, and how it relates to keywords people use. So that was where we went last week. Go back to the previous episode a couple of weeks ago. They all start with growth framework if you want to search for them. So this one is now we're getting into the kind of the meat. We're explaining what growth means, and then what the first letter of the acronym growth, the G, the gather, stands for, what it does and how we do it. So I'll start and I'll read through it. So just so you can hear what it is. And then we'll at the end of that, I'll explain what we're going to do next and what the next part of the plan is. So let's go. So the framework. So it's time to get into the detail. What exactly is the growth framework and how do we implement it? Now, I named it the growth framework as over time it will do what we all want, which is to grow your organic search, visibility and volume. Secondly, it's also an acronym that covers each of the 6 steps of the framework, which are gather, refine, optimize, watch, tune, hone and repeat. That last H, hone and repeat, is the H from hone and repeat. It's important. So we gather the questions people are asking online about our subject area. We refine those questions into clusters to define the content we need to produce. We optimize our content and publish it. We watch how our content grows, performs, and how users interact with it. We then tune our content based on data from Google, and we then hone and repeat that builds a flywheel of constant improvements in visibility and traffic. So through the next few sections, we'll cover in detail how to implement the framework in detail from the ground up. And throughout these sections, I will include how I use keywordspeopleuse.com when I implement this process, but the same principles can be applied without it. It's just a bit more of a manual process. So step 1, gather, mining for questions. So the foundation of a successful, sustainable SEO strategy is rooted in understanding what your audience is really asking. In this step, we focus on mining for questions, the raw data that will fuel your entire content strategy. This section explains why questions matter, outlines the various sources you can tap into, provides a step-by-step guide for using keywords people use to gather a wealth of question data, and introduces the use of keyword lists to save these results for later manipulation. Why questions matter. At the heart of every search query is a question. Users aren't simply typing in keywords to game an algorithm, they're looking for answers to problems, clarifications, and guidance. Understanding user intent. Every search is driven by a need, solving a problem, learning something new, or confirming a hypothesis. For example, someone searching how to improve website speed is not just looking for generic tips, they want actionable, specific advice to solve a frustrating issue. The power of answer-based content. Focusing on answering these questions means creating content that speaks directly to your audience's need. This approach builds trust, engages users, and establishes your site as a reliable authority in your niche. When you answer real questions, you not only satisfy your audience, but also attract organic links and social shares. Long-term engagement. Content that answers genuine questions tends to perform better over time. It becomes a lasting resource that continues to attract visitors even as search trends evolve. This is the cornerstone of a sustainable SEO strategy. Sources for discovery. To build comprehensive lists of questions, you need to gather data from various sources. Each source provides unique insights into what people are really asking online. Google people also ask, PAA. When you search a query, Google presents related questions that offer multiple angles on a topic. These are invaluable for uncovering variations you might not initially have considered. Google autocomplete. As you begin typing a query, Google suggests completions based on popular searches. These suggestions reveal long-tail questions and common modifiers such as how, why, what, when people use. Reddit and Quora. Both platforms are hubs of genuine user inquiries. Reddit threads and Quora discussions are filled with authentic questions, often capturing niche or detailed aspects of a subject before they come into search engines. Other niche forums and social media communities. Smaller forums, Facebook groups, and industry-specific communities often surface questions that might be overlooked by larger platforms, and they provide additional context and a deeper dive into user concerns. Using keywords people use for gathering. Keywords people use streamlines the process of mining for questions, allowing you to collect as many queries as possible without worrying about immediate relevance. And don't worry, we will cover how we narrow down the most relevant questions in the refined step of the framework by using our clustering processes. So step-by-step guide. 1. Setting up your account and dashboard. Create an account. Sign in up on keywordspeopleuse.com using your preferred method of Google sign-in or manual registration. And once logged in, take a moment to explore the dashboard. The interface is organized into different search types. Google people also ask, autocomplete, Reddit and Quora, semantic keywords, and more. Each designed to tap into different sources of question data. Initiating a search. Select the appropriate tool. Start with the people also ask tool for your seed keyword or topic. For instance, if you're focusing on website speed, type in improve website speed. Customize your search. Use your language and region selectors to tailor the results to your target audience. This ensures that the gathered questions reflect the interests and the language of your specific demographic. And step 3, collect the data. So you can view the results. Keywords people use will display a list of questions in both a visual map format and a data table. At this stage, your goal is to gather as many questions as possible, so don't worry about filtering out irrelevant queries. The clustering phase in step 2 will handle that. Save with keyword lists. Instead of manually filtering the questions, use the keyword list feature in each search result on keywords people use to save your entire search result of gathered questions into a keyword list. This allows you to preserve the raw data intact and later manipulate it, analyze or refine it using the clustering tools we'll cover in the refine step. Step 4 is expanding your pool of questions. So use multiple tools. After gathering questions from people also ask, switch the autocomplete tool to capture long-tail variations. Next, tap into the Reddit and Quora search to extract questions that are being actively discussed in communities. You want comprehensive data collection. You want to combine the results from all these sources into your keyword list. By collecting an extensive pool of questions, you ensure you're not missing out on any potential angles or new answers. Remember, at this stage, quantity is more valuable than immediate quality. Overcoming common challenges. Since the goal at this stage is to amass a wide range of questions, you don't need to worry about manually filtering out noise right now. The idea is to let your data flow freely into your keyword lists for later analysis. So embrace quantity. Focus on collecting a large volume of questions without overthinking their initial relevancy. Trust that the clustering process in the refine step will help you sort out and group the most valuable queries later. Keyword lists as storage tool. Use keyword lists to organize and save your raw data. This feature is essential because it enables you to revisit and manipulate your dataset once you're ready to refine and cluster your questions. It's like saving all your brainstorming ideas in one place so that nothing gets lost. And future flexibility. By gathering questions without premature filtering, you retain the flexibility to identify hidden gems that might initially seem off topic, but could later evolve into valuable content when viewed in the context of your overall strategy, bringing it all together. Step 1 of the growth framework is about laying a robust foundation by gathering a vast array of user questions. This phase isn't about perfecting data quality, it's about amassing a comprehensive pool of questions that reflect the diverse interests and challenges of your audience. With keywords people use, you can quickly and efficiently collect this raw data and save it using keyword lists for later clustering and refinement. This abundant repository of questions will serve as the bedrock for creating truly engaging, answer-based content in the subsequent steps. By focusing on gathering first, you ensure that no potential question is overlooked. The real magic happens later, when you can sort through this data to create clusters that form the basis of detailed, high-quality content. In this way, the gather phase is your launchpad into building a content strategy that truly resonates with your audience and drives sustainable long-term SEO success. So that's this next section that I've created. So in this section, I'm really, first of all, telling you why growth is called growth. So that's for each step is a letter of the acronym, GROWTH. And then we go through the gather phase of why we're concentrating on questions, why it's important that we go for quantity and not worry too much at this point about quality. The quality will surface in the future steps. And we also touch on how keywords people use can help you with that mining process, and how the keyword lists, which is a core sort of pillar within this, where you're going to pour data into your keyword list to later manipulate. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it explains that first step, and we can see why at this point where we're using the tools to help us get as many questions as possible. We're not worrying about filtering these questions because that's an automated process that will come later. And this is something that's really key. I know when I've spoken to a lot of people when I first introduced this framework to them, they often start to worry about whether a question that's been discovered is or isn't relevant. And yes, you will find likely that as you're just scanning over these questions, you will find ones that aren't relevant. But don't worry, leave them in. Let the tools down the line do the process of eliminating the ones that aren't relevant and clustering together all the ones that are relevant. Just trust me on this, it works. So go and read it yourself. I don't know how well it works when you're just reading out a document, especially with headings and things like that and bullet lists. But hopefully it made sense. Do go and look at the document. Any feedback, there's details in the document of how you can email me, how you can get hold of me to provide any feedback, and all feedback is welcome. Thanks to everyone who has so far left me feedback. It's really, really valuable. So next time, what I will aim to do for 2 weeks from today, which will be about the 7th of March, I will provide the next 2 sections. I'll try and do the next 2 sections. They're quite big sections, but they are the refine and optimize sections. So I'll definitely do refine. I'll see how long it takes before getting into optimize. And the refine section, that's the one where I've been referring to in what we've talked about so far today. That's where we're going to get into clusters and how we're going to cluster all those questions together and find all the related questions, all the clusters, how the clusters relate to each other, how to interpret the clusters, and then how to prioritize them. Then the optimized section is then when we're talking about choosing the right medium, whether it's creating or updating content, and some tips on on-page best practice and user experience, that kind of thing, which could be quite a big section. So I'll see how we get into that one, but I'll try and complete it. So 2 weeks from today, that's where I'm going to deliver the next set to you. So you are holding me accountable. You're my accountability partners. It's really, really important, and it's working so well so far, because every time I know I've got a deadline and I've got to report on it, and if I don't, I've let you down. So that's what I'm going to do for you next time. And if you are interested in being one of the case studies in this, when it's finished, to let me know. All case studies, as well as obviously being featured in this document, and however I publish this document, I'll also cover you on our website. So, and there'll be a link back to any case studies that want to be linked back to. So it's a nice, easy way of getting yourself a nice editorial link. So yeah, if you're interested in being included, the information is in the document, or just contact me in any of the contact ways that I mentioned in the show notes of this document. of this podcast even. So yeah, that's it for today. So until next time, keep optimizing, stay curious, and remember, SEO is not that hard when you understand the basics.
Thanks for listening. It means a lot to me. This is where I get to remind you where you can connect with me and my SEO tools and services. You can find links to all the links I mentioned here in the show notes. Just remember, with all these places where I use my name, the Edd is spelled with 2 Ds. You can find me on LinkedIn and Blue Sky. Just search for Edd Dawson on both. You can record a voice question to get answered on the podcast. The link is in the show notes. You can try our SEO intelligence platform, Keywords People Use, at keywordspeopleuse.com, where we can help you discover the questions and keywords people are asking online, plus those questions and keywords into related groups so you know what content you need to build topical authority, and finally connect your Google Search Console account for your sites so we can crawl and understand your actual content, find what keywords you rank for, and then help you optimize and continually refine your content with targeted, personalized advice to keep your traffic growing. If you're interested in learning more about me personally or looking for dedicated consulting advice, then visit www.edddawson.com. Bye for now, and see you in the next episode of SEO is Not That Hard.